And this is Will Ministries International presents Midweek Message. Hi, family. Well, family, today I want to talk about Title IX. Title IX is a public law that refers to education. And so it was passed in the U.S. Department of Education's for Civil Rights enforces, among other statutes, Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. Title IX protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. Title IX states, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. And so I think there's always been women's sports, but I believe what Title IX did was put a little federal money into women's sports. And so that made women's sports more viable. And and it gave women more opportunities, women and girls, more opportunities to participate in sports. And so that was in 1972. Now, this happened because women were marginalized when it came to like sports and activities in schools. Like what they needed wasn't a big deal. So Title IX really helped young women in secondary education, but also in higher education. So it's a big deal for women's sports, Title IX is. So, first we're going to do our definition of sex. Our definition of sex is XXXY, right? XX woman or girl, XY male or boy. Now, there are intersex people, but they make up approximately 0.5, a half a percent of the entire population of this country. And so that would be dealt with on a one-on-one basis. But with the increase in transgender athletes, especially the transgender female athletes, when they compete in women's and girls' sports, they still have all the benefits or they still have all the, I don't want to say benefits, but they still have the physique of an XY. So because of that, they have an advantage, especially in sports. And so the whole point of girls' sports is a level playing field, right? Right? We have a level playing field when we compete amongst each other. But now there's records being broken that biological girls will never probably be able to match, right? There's scholarships that are being lost. There's opportunities being lost to biological female girls because they have to now compete with biological male girls. Now, the whole point of Title IX was to protect women on the basis of their sex, not their gender, on the basis of their sex. And now now all these things that we gained through Title IX are now being lost because biological male identifying females, no, female identifying biological males are now able to compete and dominate in our sports. So this is taking away not just like sports, but like scholarship opportunities. It's like this happening is eroding the rights of our girls. This happening is eroding opportunities for our girls. And no one's stepping up to take up for them. Instead, we're being called bigots. I don't believe that transgender folks shouldn't be allowed to be in sports. Yes, they should, but they should have their own category. And transgender girls should compete against transgender girls, and transgender boys should compete against transgender boys. Yeah. Because and another thing is there's the hormone aspect of this. So there's hormones being taken that would disqualify a non-transgender athlete, but it's being allowed in our sports, right? So if you're going to have uh, hormones and things being taken, that gives you also an unfair advantage. And so they should be able to compete with each other because that's their level playing field. And our girls deserve to have their sports. Our girls deserve to have their scholarships. Our girls should be allowed to compete with each other on a level playing field. And so I think any record being made by a non-biological female should have an asterisk, and therefore women would not have to aspire to have to beat that kind of record. I think our women's movement is not about protecting the rights of women because they're silent. No one's sticking up for these girls. No one's pushing back saying, schools, you're violating Title IX by allowing non-biological females to compete with biological females. There's no pushback, and it's wrong. And we have to step up. I have a daughter. She's older now and probably mad at me that I'm doing this. But this isn't about hate. Like, I don't have hate for transgender children. I don't, they should have their own. What I do have is love for young girls and women that are doing their best to compete and training and working really hard, only to be like discriminated against by putting a biological male in the mix. Like, it's not fair, and it's not right, and it violates Title IX. It does discriminate against women. It's a disadvantage that women have because we're built differently. So some of y'all are going to call me hateful and a bigot. This isn't about hate. This is not about hurting transgender people. They should, by law, they should have their own. Just like women had to fight for our lane, transgenders deserve their own lane. But you don't have the right to step on our girls' rights. Your rights are yours. You do not have the right to step on the rights and the privileges and whatever women have fought for to get. It doesn't automatically come to you. You have to fight for yours. And so, ladies, we have to fight for ours. We have to fight for our high school students, our high school athletes, our college athletes, our Olympic athletes. We have to fight for them. We can't just let people come in and disenfranchise our children. So join us again next time when In His Will Ministries International presents Midweek Message. Until then, bye.